Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Detective Grimoire. I'm Gracie from Steel Streams, and this is part 3 of this series. I don't know if I already said that, we'll see. And I'm not leaving, I'm not beginning right where I left off. As you can see, I have kind of traveled a little bit, and I found this little poncho man here who's protesting, "Stop swamping the swamp." So let's just get right on into it and just see what it is that he's protesting exactly.
You've arrived at a bad time, my friend. For once, they don't actually want tourists walking around this place.
Whoops.
I always arrive at a bad time.
Sorry.
It's what I do. I'm a detective, not a tourist.
My apologies.
He's a bit of a
It's
Robin
just
Hood type
you
character.
have the same wide-eyed expression as the kids that come here. Running
The
around,
beard, and I don't know,
stealing
maybe
their
I have a
parents'
weird
money.
perception of what
You
Robin
know.
Hood should look like. But with
Well,
even the
you know,
feather and
it's
his
not
little green hat.
Every day I visit a swamp full of such unique specimens.
It's no problem. You're just thinking what we all thought when we arrived for the
he's got
first time.
Why didn't they
The
put him in
character
bathroom?
dynamics
No, you're thinking
of
this place
an anime
is beautiful.
character
What
with
a
the
lucky
whole,
man
like,
I am to be here.
finger
I
in
am,
the
am
air
I?
and
Well, if you say so.
hiding their face.
Edward Everstone, at your service.
That's a pretty cool name.
Then why is he called
Can
Echo?
I call you Ed?
You don't need to. Everyone just calls me Echo.
Why? Because it gives you an elevated sense of purpose. I feel like this guy would be super helpful because I feel like he doesn't like what's going on here. So maybe I shouldn't be sassy. Though, that's actually a really good line and I feel like I want to do it. Why? Because you're a good swimmer? Why? Because I'd bounce if I threw you at a wall. These are all really sassy. He seems kind of pompous. I'm going to go with the elevated
Why?
sense of purpose.
Because it gives you an elevated sense of purpose?
I feel like these decisions
What?
might not actually
No.
change anything,
Because I
though.
always come back. Again and again. Until my job is done.
Oh, dear.
You're protesting, right?
I certainly am. And now that you're here, I'm getting you involved.
What does that mean? Yeah, I haven't got time to hold up signs for you. I'm sorry.
You simply have to hear my message and take it with you.
Go ahead. I'm all ears. Plus, I have a little notebook.
What was the first thing you felt when you saw the sign for Boggy's Bog looming over you?
Well, I thought it
Not
was...
thought, felt.
Oh,
I
jeez.
felt... Well, something seemed wrong. There wouldn't be a tourist attraction in the middle of a swamp like this.
This man's
There
got rubber
shouldn't be.
arms. There's no elbow there.
My
It's just
job is
a
done.
big curve.
Clearly your brain is working perfectly, Detective.
So you're against the tourist attraction? Yeah, let's see. You'd
I wonder
rather
who they
say
got
it's
to do all the
because,
voice acting in
natural
this.
habitat,
It's very
right?
interesting.
Right again. And that
I
precise
feel like
word,
this guy's voice
habitat.
is...
First and foremost, I'm protesting
Exactly.
for animal rights.
Okay,
Well, okay,
animal
I'll
rights
follow
activist.
you, but it's not like they're cutting down trees or anything like that.
I feel
right?
like he has to
All
be more
animals
serious than
deserve
what
the
his
right
voice
to
is,
live in
but
peace,
this guy has
and I promise you,
deep
on a normal
voice.
day, this place
It
is
fits
far
his
from
personality
peaceful.
very well.
Are you
Harper,
talking
I
about the
felt like he
swamp
should be
creature?
more grizzled
About Boggy?
or old man.
A creature like that.
The Russian accent
He's
was
earned the
interesting.
right to be
I
left
don't,
alone.
I
We're
don't know.
fools to invite
see.
ourselves into his home like this on a daily basis, assuming he's not going to mind. Assuming he'll keep to himself and let us walk around with his face on our t-shirts.
Well, I agree.
Or in a
I think he should be
costume
left
of
alone.
him.
But like you said, he can probably handle himself. And if no one has even seen him in 60 years, I don't really see the problem.
Unlike you, Detective, I never had an academic calling in life. I was never even a talented artist or musician or anything. So instead, I made the decision to stand up for those who were getting a raw deal.
So he's interesting because he does have a bit of a motive to kill Remington. Maybe more than Vincent? I guess Vincent's motivation would be more monetary. This whole true story movie making experience in the swamp. This creature is evil. It depends on what kind of movie he wants. I probably need to go back and actually talk to him and get a little bit more information about his character. This guy, though, he thinks that what Remington is doing in the swamp is wrong. And if he can show that Boggy, the creature that lives in the swamp, doesn't like this attraction, by posing to be Boggy and to kill him, that would make people fear Boggy, and they might not want to get Boggy's wrath, when really it's just this
You
guy's
come here
wrath.
every day.
Yes, I do.
Well, I'm only going to ask you about one of those days. What were you doing yesterday evening?
I was here at my protest spot until fairly late. Then I went to get something to eat at Harper's Cafe before I...
Wait, you ate at the cafe here? Doesn't
Did he get
supporting the
sick?
tourist attraction like that kind of go against your protest?
A man has to eat, doesn't he? I don't think the meager contributions of one person are going to keep this place afloat. Especially now.
And you're sleeping here? Doesn't it get cold at night?
Well, I came prepared, of course.
He's a
I
poncho.
usually find myself with 1 or 2 extra
gonna get
layers to
cold.
wear. Most of this bulk is padding, I promise you.
I'm sure it is. So you stayed here the whole night?
Eating all those hot dogs.
That's right.
That's where all
And I
that
admit
padding
I
comes
may
from.
have heard some stranger than usual sounds floating around the swamp last night.
What kind of sounds?
It's impossible to say. This place fills with the most terrifying sounds at night. Hundreds of animals, some tiny, some much larger, awaken and make their own protests. Every night until the sun rises in the morning.
Insects make noises at night. Okay, I've written it down.
All that to come to that conclusion. So kind of what I'm starting to figure out is that everybody has a motive. This guy wants to see the attraction get shut down because he thinks it's cruel and inhumane. The movie guy, I'm making up his. Bobby, the cameraman, kind of feels like the guy that would do whatever cameraman wanted him to do. Harper says he's good friends with Richard Remington, and I'm sure he is, but sometimes even friends have falling outs, and he's the one that has access to it, though he is saying that some of his supplies got stolen, so I don't know if he'd be stealing his own supplies, but he could just be trying to get me off the scent. And the old woman seemed a little bitter that other people were living in her swamp, so and she knew how to make the slime. She had the chemicals to make the slime. So it could be possible that she's making it, though that wouldn't explain why there's swamp juice missing from the cafe. So we're going to continue to go, and I'm going to go talk to Vincent again. Okay.
What's a famous guy like you doing in a place like this?
Quite. I'm sure you're thinking, why doesn't he send an assistant? But that's not the way this director works.
But what are you doing?
So I noticed while I'm talking to people, that's when the music gets much more happy. So that's
This
interesting.
area, the history, the atmosphere, it's the perfect setting for my next film.
What kind of film
I'm
is
on a
it?
scouting mission to get to know this swamp before I begin work on the latest masterpiece in a string of masterpieces.
You're making a movie about Boggy. About the swamp creature?
Of course. He's a fascinating individual, isn't he? So mysterious.
No idea. I haven't met him yet. Is that your cameraman over there?
Yes,
Yes,
that's
we
right.
already know that. We
Bobby
already talked to
Burrell,
him.
my faithful right-hand man. Well, faithful enough, you know.
No, I don't know.
He's an expert cameraman. Really knows his trade, of course. But he gets a bit muddled when it comes to priorities.
Like how? You mean he's lazy? He doesn't look lazy. That looks a bit scary.
Oh no, nothing of the sort. He just has a little hobby that sometimes distracts him from his work.
What's his
But I
hobby?
wouldn't want anyone else shooting for me.
Were you working yesterday? Here in the swamp, I mean?
Indeed, I was working very hard indeed, well into the night.
Hard work, is it? Getting to know the swamp?
You jest, but yesterday I was getting even more involved than usual. Yes, difficult to comprehend, I know.
So what kind of work were you doing?
Well, I was, unable to find my faithful cameraman last night. He had hidden himself quite completely from view.
Bobby Burrell, right? Did you need him to film for you?
Always. But being a
But why would
resourceful
Bobby
type
do
of
it?
man,
He
I
doesn't-
stepped up and took on the
To
responsibility
me, he doesn't have the
myself.
motive.
I was filming in this exact area, in fact.
You were filming? Last night? Here?
All these people have
Yes,
alibis, but
at the
nobody
time
to
of the murder,
support
I
it.
believe. But wait, I know what you're
What?
thinking.
How do you know what
Now,
time
don't
the murder
forget,
is?
I'm not here to shoot some experimental documentary. I have no interest in late-night surveillance footage.
Did you see anything at all? What is it you were filming?
The water. I was filming the water. It's a fascinating subject.
Why were you filming
one that
the
has
water?
Me captivated to the point where
So, you didn't see anything useful? Got excited there for a minute.
Nothing useful to you, my good detective. But
I kind
there
of
are
wish-
some odd sounds on the audio track.
Can I get
Nothing
it?
but wild animals going about their nighttime rituals, I'm sure.
But maybe
Is there
not.
something I should ask the cameraman?
Lied to me because told me that is one of the reasons. Doesn't explain why. Was the murderer. Was nowhere to be found last night. Was so useless. Came to the swamp in the first place. Bobby Burrell doesn't told me that. I need to see. Wait, what did he tell me? Can I not look at other things? I can't remember. Vincent told me that Bobby Burrell was nowhere to be found last night.
Vincent Vanderpeer told me that Bobby Burrell was nowhere to be found last night. Simple enough. What was Mr. Burrell doing last night
So
that made
I
he
think I
couldn't help out his
have
boss?
two challenges for Bobby Burrell now. Find the truth. I need to go talk to him. Let's see, film footage. Footage recorded last night at the exact time of the murder. Filmed by Vincent Vanderpeer. Is clearly on the west side of the swamp near the crime scene. There's nothing to see, but various clues can be heard on the audio track. Listen to them in order. In order? Okay, tap on the sound to hear it play. I wish the music would stop for a second. Okay, creaking. That could be somebody walking on the dock, right? Oh. Okay, so that must have been Richard crying out, right? Ooh, blast. Was that a gun? But I didn't find any gunshot wounds. That sounded like something going into a body. Oh my gosh, this poor man. Ripping. Did he fall out the window? Because that would explain why that window's open. And the drapery flying about. Okay. That's what happened. Somebody got into the house, surprised Richard Remington. Remington must have shot at him. That's him, whatever device it was that made the 3 marks, that was him going into Remington's body. Outcry as he was getting stabbed. Ripping of the window. Hitting the dock. And the clang. Maybe the suspect dropped the murder weapon in the house? Or maybe that's them leaving. Okay. You know what? I need to talk to Bobby again.
This area is kind of empty.
No, I want to talk to you.
You were here yesterday, I presume? Last night?
Yes, I was.
Here, in this clearing?
No, I was over at the cafe getting something to eat. Richard Remington was there, too.
Remington? You saw him last night? Just before the murder?
That's right, I saw him. He left the cafe looking rather ill. I offered to help.
So that
but
would
he just
explain
wanted
why
to go back
Vincent
to his
couldn't find
office.
him. He was off
He looked
eating.
like he had a lot on his mind.
He was
But what is
ill
his
yesterday?
hobby?
Perhaps it was something he ate.
Present a clue. Film footage. He's a cameraman. I wonder if the film footage would do him some good. Must have been something he ate. Maybe he...
That's the food I saw Mr. Remington eating at the cafe
Okay,
last
so
night.
he did eat that.
Before
So
he got
whatever the
ill
green
and rushed back
powder
to
is
his
on
office?
it.
That's right.
This is going down in my notebook. It might be important.
Present a profile. You know what? I want to ask him
You should
about...
ask someone else.
No? Whoops.
I heard from Mr. Vanderpeer over there that you were nowhere to be found last night.
I didn't know what I
Didn't
clicked
I
on.
say I
must
was
have
at the cafe?
clicked on
Yeah,
the
you did.
challenge.
But your director needed you for some filming, and he couldn't find you. What were you doing that was so important?
Well, let's see. After I ate, I had to walk around the swamp. I didn't have my camera, so I was free to stretch my legs for once.
Where was your camera? Don't you carry it around with you all the time?
No, not all the time.
Well, that would be silly to ask. Of course he doesn't. It's his career. People want to take a break sometimes. You left it with Vanderbeer and he used it instead. You lost it in the swamp and went looking for it. It was broken and being repaired at some point.
You left it with Vanderpeer, and he used it instead that night.
That's right, he was looking after that camera. So I went for a late-night stroll. This place is beautiful in the evenings.
You just
So
walked around? You didn't
he
do
must have seen
anything?
something
Didn't
then.
see anyone?
Well, I can't say that. I have various ways to pass the time, you know.
You were collecting samples of swamp water. Vanderpeer said you had a hobby on the side. Got lost in the swamp and were trying to get out.
Vanderpeer said you had a hobby on the side.
Is that what he said? Well, yes, he's right. I brought 2 cameras
what
with
he
me when I came here. I left my video camera, yes, but I have another one. It's much smaller.
Is he a
and it only takes
photographer?
black and white photographs.
Okay.
You know the kind I mean?
A really old one?
Like a Polaroid?
Yes, I
No, not a
suppose so.
Polaroid.
I've
Polaroid's
always
the
enjoyed
color.
traditional photography, and this place is a wonderful opportunity to take some pictures of a natural environment.
So, you were having some time off to take black and white photographs? For fun?
Only one photograph. You have to be disciplined when you're not using a digital camera.
Can I see it?
Of course. I took it near the woods at the back of the swamp. It's quite an interesting shot, but the light qualities weren't perfect. Here we are. Feel free to take a look.
Wait, what? This is a photo?
I haven't developed it yet. I only took it last night. Just brush the developing fluid over the photo to reveal the image.
This is fun. Ooh. It's Boggy. Or it's somebody in the Boggy costume, so it couldn't have been Bobby. And if Vanderpeer...
Is that Boggy? The swamp creature just standing in the water?
It could be. Personally, I'm not convinced, but I'll let you decide for yourself.
Challenge complete. Blurry photograph taken by Bobby Burrell shortly before the murder. It shows something that looks like Boggy in the woods at the back of the swamp. The being in the photo seems to have long legs. Who has long legs? Because that I feel like is significant. So it couldn't have been Bobby in the costume if he was the one taking the photo.
Are we really talking about a swamp creature here?
That was hidden inside. I found in my office. Explains what I found in the trash. The costume design I found in the trash can explains what smells like showing me was doing last night ever existed. So, the costume design I found in the trash explains what the swamp creature was doing last night. Ever existed, smells like, showing me was doing last night. Okay, we're gonna go
The
with that.
costume design I found in the trash can explains what the swamp creature was doing last night. No.
No. Okay. Huh. So, this is something, because obviously I found in the trash explains what Burley's black and white photo is showing me.
The costume
Okay.
design I found in the trash can explains
So there
what
is a
Burl's
right and a
black
wrong
white
way of thinking.
photo is
Okay.
showing me.
I thought
My
this was all
detective's
pretty
intuition's kicking
open-ended.
in. That black and white photograph. I'm not sure I'm looking at the real Boggy here.
Well, of
and I
course
think
not.
these designs I found in the trash can might be the answer. I'll ask around, see if anybody knows anything about this. Oh, and I should start looking for the costume itself. If I can find that, there'll be some pretty impressive evidence.
Yeah, it would. Chapter 2, A Deadly Disguise. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it here. Thanks for joining me in part 3. In part 4, we'll be starting on Chapter 2, A Deadly Disguise, trying to find some parts of that costume, maybe interviewing some more characters, trying to figure out what this is. I still have 2 more suspects to uncover. And I still don't have a lot of my clues, so it's going to be really interesting. We're only about 32% of the way through, so expect many more videos, and thanks again for joining me. I am Gracie from Steel Streams. We do Joathan, my partner, and I, we do many co-op multiplayer games that you can be found, but sometimes we do solo games like Detective Grimoire, which I'm doing right now. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And be sure to subscribe if you want to keep watching our videos, and like and share this one if you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear from some of you. So feel free to find us on any of the social media, shout out or comment on this video, whatever you're feeling like doing. And I'll see you guys around. Bye.